So about 2.5 years ago, there was a new store that opened up in Topeka, where I'm from, Topeka, Kansas, and it was a CBD store. And a friend of mine actually owned a shop next door, so I went over there, I was hanging out with him, and kind of saw the buzz. I saw all the people going in there. I just poked my head in, and it was explosive, like just how many people were in this little shop. And I talked to the owner a little bit. He kind of told me more about the business, kind of got interested and went home, did some homework. The next day, I walked in that store again, and everyone has to have that personal reason they jump in. My old babysitter, she was in there, and she was buying products, and I just bumped into her. I didn't recognize her, obviously, because I was like 3 or 4 years old, but they always remember me, probably from my mom's Facebook page. But I knew she had some issues. She went through 3 or 4 rounds of chemo. She had surgery a couple times, and she told me her story that she was actually on her 5th round of cancer. Chemo nixed it 3 times, surgery almost got all of it out, but it came back. And she was in that point of mindset where she was just going to give up. Her family pushed her to trying CBD and cannabis, and she found out it worked. And so that was 2.5 years ago. She was given 3 to 5 months to live at that point in time. Here she's still alive and kicking. She's using our product, and she's going to her grandkids' weddings and all this other stuff. So that was really the story, that just hearing her story about how CBD affected her was really the big push to get me into this. And then the great thing about this business is we hear those stories all the time. I mean, every day we hear them in the stores. So even though it's a great business, it's changing people's lives, and that's really the big motivation for it. So the term sacred came from, there was a webinar that came out probably about 2 or 3 months before I actually opened my store, called The Sacred Plant. And it really kind of intrigued me, because part of the way the marketing they were doing is every day or every week they came out with a new video, and it was kind of, they never really admitted what the plant was until like the 10th video. So by the time we got to the 10th video, everyone really knew it was cannabis or marijuana. And so that concept, the sacred plant, really kind of stuck with me. And I just played around with the words, and the hemp leaf is really kind of a big focal point for a lot of these dispensary stores, and so I just kind of merged the two together. So unlike some of the other brands out there, we don't just stick to the cookie cutter products. So we do have the tinctures, we have the edibles, we have the lotions, but because we are 100% seed to sale, we own the fields, we own the labs, we own the whole manufacturing process. If someone came to me and said, hey, I need a gel capsule that is pink, we can really make it. I mean, we can make, within reason, anything. So that's why we have some very exclusive products, like we have our beard oils, we have specialty dog treats that, are not just general health. We have some that are tied for anxiety, some for joint health. So that's really the interesting concept about, Sacred Leaf, is our store has every product that you can really think of, and probably some that you can't. And it's just a one-stop shop. So 2 years ago, when we first started the Sacred Leaf brand, we actually started with a little small farm. I say small, but it was 1,200 acres of fields. So we had 1,200 acres of our patented strain of hemp that was growing there, as well as our manufacturing facilities. So everything from beginning to end is only touched and dealt with by our staff. And then that gives us, obviously, since we know what strain it is, we can tell which acreage of field it came from, and which ingredients we mixed in with at the lab. That gives us complete transparency to the very end. And then not only that, we also do third-party tests and everything else to make sure that we're providing the customers all the information they have. Our new labeling method, we're putting the QR code actually on the bottle. So if you're unsure, you can sit there in the store and scan it with your phone before you even buy it, and you can see everything that's in it. So that's the big thing, is we want to focus on transparency. And then obviously, with your professional environment, everyone's at risk of possibly getting a test or, getting popped with some sort of UA or something at work. that's why we focus on the zero aspect. So the key word there being proven is a little tough. The FDA has certain restrictions on dietary supplements that what we can and cannot say as far as medical studies. However, there are hundreds of studies done by universities, done by science outlets that are fully accredited universities. The problem is that they can't really publish all of them. What we hear and what we've seen that CBD is proven for, pain and inflammation are two of the biggest things. It will actually help help shrink inflammation in the body, which when you think of inflammation, it's not just arthritis and joints. It can be anything from lupus or Crohn's or anything like that, fibromyalgia. And then on the flip side, we've seen benefits with sleep, we've seen benefits with anxiety, different mental issues. And one thing a lot of people don't talk about is skin disorders. You have more cannabinoid receptors in your skin than anywhere else in your body, which is why creams and topicals work so well. So federally, the maximum amount of CBD or the maximum amount of THC they will allow in products to go across state lines. So federal regulations is that 0.3% of THC. Different states have their own rules. Kansas, for example, where I'm from, they just passed that 0.3%. Texas is still a 0.00%. So the biggest thing you want to look for is, like when you're looking at buying the products, is you want to make sure that it's actually got CBD in it. A lot of stuff you'll see on Amazon, they say hemp extract. Well, hemp oil could be used to fry an egg, but it's not going to necessarily give you the CBD benefit. So you want to make sure what's in the bottle, first of all. But then on the flip side, even if you do get that full spectrum and you get that 0.3%, you're not going to feel the psychoactive sides of it. Most hemp products are actually, most CBD products come from hemp. They don't come from cannabis. Even though it's the same family plant, we always tell people, don't judge me by that crazy uncle you see at the family reunion. So we all have that person in the family, but just because that's the wild side doesn't mean that the other part of the family has a benefit. So you won't get high. You're not going to feel any sort of psychoactive effects. You're not going to feel groggy or anything like that. On the flip side, depending on the amount you take, even if you take that full spectrum, you could fail a drug test. And that's why on our side, we make sure that we focus on that zero aspect of it. So we provide you all the relief, all the benefits, the entourage effect that you get from having multiple cannabinoids, but we take out that THC to make sure that, if you drive a truck, you can get pain relief and still drive your truck. You don't have to worry about losing your license or anything like that. So my first week of being open in Lawrence, I was still very fresh in the CBD world. I only knew kind of what I've taught myself and what I've learned from some of the other store owners. But we had this gentleman that came in, and he told me a story about his wife. His wife was, probably weeks to live. She had really bad Alzheimer's, and he heard that it might help, but he just really kind of wanted to have like that one last conversation with her before she goes. And so he came in and he spent a lot of money. He bought some really expensive products, and I told him, I was like, listen, if it doesn't work, I felt really personal relationship with this guy, even though I've only met him for like 5 minutes. I was like, if it doesn't work, come back. I will make sure you get your money back. And a couple weeks go by, and I didn't see him. I go in, I think it was like 3 weeks later, I see him pull up in the driveway, and I was like, oh man, this may be rough. I was worried. And he walked in, and I was helping another customer. He just walked right behind the counter and just came up and gave me like the biggest hug. And he just broke down, and I was like, hopefully everything's okay. And he was like, well, my wife passed, but I had 5 great days with her. And it was probably one of the most emotional stories I've ever had there. And then we've had people that have come in right after visiting their doctor, and their doctor says that, you've got cancer. We need to send you to the Mayo Clinic. and they stop by on their way home to tell their loved ones that, this is scary. And she bought some, this lady, she bought a bottle. She didn't want to try it in the store. She was so nervous. But she took it home, and a month later she went in for her appointment, and she was good. I mean, the doctor told her, whatever you did, we're not saying it's gone, but we can find no traces of cancer in your body. So yeah, I mean, but those are two of the biggest, most emotional stories. But we hear people, we see people that come in that they're burn victims, or they've got, rashes or something over 90% of their body, and we just hear some of the stories. And, you can ask any of the store owners that are here today, and they all have a story like that stands out. And that's part of the business that we don't really talk about a lot, but when you have that happen to you and you're there in the store, it makes this whole business that much more exciting, because now it's got a completely different part of it. Especially now, I mean, you see it anytime something gets popular. Like now we hear more and more seniors that will come in and they'll say, oh, this product, they sold it to me online. Now they're charging my card every month, $90, and I can't cancel. There's so many scams, there's so many false products that are out there. And that's why I focus so much on the transparency. I mean, it costs us a little bit more, but I know that every time a customer buys a product, they're getting what they want. They're getting what they're actually buying. So like in our topicals, we got regular like just body lotions. We've got a pain cream that's really great on that end, all the way to anti-aging, shampoo, conditioner, beard oil. Obviously I don't use that. We've got some on the ingestibles. We just added chocolate. We have coffee, gummies, our tinctures. We've got the smokable products. We do have some fake doobies, some pre-rolls, and some flour that people can smoke. What am I missing? I mean, I've got like 95 SKUs out there, so I'm trying to walk my way around the warehouse. Dog treats, obviously, the tinctures, and we sell some other accessories. Like we have some different vape pens that work great with our products to be vaped, and and the brand new water soluble. Can't forget about that. So that's our main product. Our tinctures can actually be blended in with water, but it's almost like, I tell people, it's like making chocolate syrup, like chocolate milk. You put it in there, you got to stir it in. Whereas the water soluble, you just squirt it directly in. It's got no taste. It just blends directly. So it goes in coffee and soda or anything that you're drinking. But yeah, we're always adding new products. I mean, we'll talk about some tonight. We've got some new capsules that are going to be coming out. Some new little extra things I'm pretty excited about. So. We have the website, sacredleafzero.com. All of our products are listed on the website, but to really get the full effect, you definitely need to go visit one of our stores. At our stores, you're going to not only get the knowledge and get the training that I have, that we've pushed on to all of our store owners, but you're also going to get that firsthand experience and be able to try it. So for somebody like you that's maybe hesitant, that is a little uneasy, you can go in there and they'll talk you through the products and even send you off with some samples that you can try. So that way you can try it before you buy it. That's a big thing for us. But we've got stores. Obviously, we've got several of them here in the Houston area. We've got some opening up in San Antonio. We've got some south down by Corpus Christi in the Aransas Pass in Portland area. We're in Florida. We're in Kansas. Soon to be in Nebraska, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and who knows where else. So we're gonna be just popping them up all over. So we just got a new one up in Huntsville. I know that's a little far north, but we've got Huntsville, Conroe, Spring. We're putting one in the Heights here pretty soon. We've got Rice Village and the Galleria. I think I'm trying to work my way around the map. We've got Cypress. This is going to test me on my Houston knowledge. I'm a Kansan, so bear with me. So we've got the Heights, Cypress, Richmond, Katy, Energy Corridor. You can tell I look at this map a lot. the Galleria, Rice Village, Missouri City, Sugar Land. We're putting one out by NASA. We've got one going out to Baytown. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But yeah, we've got quite a few of them that are currently set up right now. Check out our website. All of our locations will be listed on there. So got a lot of them coming soon. One thing when I built this is I didn't want to build a franchise where every store was cookie cutter. You know, we have the same concept, but because this is such a personal environment, you have to bring that store owners, you know, their personality out into the store. So that's why if you walk into some of our stores, they may be rustic, some of them may be modern. You may have some that are selling other products like water or clothing and things like that. That's the nice thing about this is you can build your own store, you can run with it, but we've got the same core concepts. But yeah, if somebody does want to join, we have a license agreement on our website. There's actually a tab up there. You can click on the Open a Store tab and fill out the form. And if we're not in your area, then obviously you could be the first one in your area. So that's the exciting part about it is every day I get an email like the one up in Green Bay and Nebraska. Those are two places that I would have never even thought to open, but you know, someone hears a story or someone hears a story of one of our owners and they want to join the family. Because of what we discuss in the stores, I mean, it's a very private matter. Like you mentioned, you know, your story, being able to open up and have a customer walk in and tell us that, you know, their wife is on their deathbed or that they've had, you know, cancer or tumors. It's a very personal story that we've got to get out of them. So we focus a lot on making sure that the customer is comfortable. You know, that's why we don't do high pressure sales. We don't push products. You know, we may offer you multiple solutions, but we leave it 100% up to you. I tell everybody, and everyone here has probably heard this story a million times, I'm a horrible salesman. I know I'm passionate about this, and that's all I am, but I mean, 9 times out of 10 when I was working in the store, I always forgot to ask if somebody wanted to buy something, you know, and it's just the way I am. I share the information. I want to make sure that they know how it's going to affect them, how they're going to feel, what they should expect with the product, and then I really just leave it up to them. And the great thing about it is because of the transparency of our product, because we've got such a great product, we know that if we send you out with a bottle, we'll probably see you in the next couple of days when you come back and try to buy something.